So good evening, everyone. Welcome back for the second press conference of the day with Paris Saint-Germain. Tonight on stage, we have Marquinhos and Nuno Mendes. And Julien, we can take the first question.
Bonsoir. Bienvenue pour cette conférence de presse.
Good evening and welcome to this press conference. The match day -1 for the Super Cup match between PSG and Tottenham will start with Nuno Mendes.
Bonjour Nuno.
Good evening, Nuno. So Tottenham started training when you guys were still off because you hadn't finished your season. How do you think that you're going to make up for this deficit, the lack of preparation that you've had if you compare this to Tottenham? Thank you. Good evening. Yeah, we knew that it would be a very long season for us. We tried to do, and we have tried to do everything to ensure that we're on best form tomorrow. We've been working on our cardio. We know that it will be no mean feat because we're up against a great side. And this is what we're hoping to be able to do tomorrow. I think we're ready. We're going to just play the football that we play. That's our objective.
Bonjour Nuno, Loïc Tanzi pour l'équipe.
Hi Nuno, from l'équipe. There was a decision that was taken by your coach, that's to leave Donnarumma in Paris. So I'm not asking you to comment on the decision itself. How do you feel about the fact that he was there for the Champions League final a couple of months ago and he's not here now? We get the job done. Our job is to train on. We do everything we can to make sure that we're part of the squad, but it's up to the coach to decide which players are ready for the game. I'm doing what I need to do, and me and the rest of the team are all ready for tomorrow.
Bonjour Nuno, il y a aussi beaucoup de potentiel Ballon d'Or dans cette
effectif. There's been a lot of talk about the Ballon d'Or with all of the different candidates that you have. Are you scared that this may throw off things in the dressing room? No. I think that everyone's well in their boots. We're all focused on the game tomorrow. On a personal note, I've got a very clear head. I think that my teammates as well, what's important for us tomorrow is to win the game and to take that Super Cup home.
Bonjour Nuno, Philippe Sanfon.
Hi Nuno, Philippe from RTL. So we've spoken about the fact that the season was quite dense and intense. So what's quite hard when you have a little bit of a short break? Is it physically or mentally getting back into the groove, being focused on a trophy, on a game that is worth a final? I think it's a mix of both. I think physically we know that we're maybe not as fresh as we would like to be, and mentally as well, we're all coming back off holiday. We're going to try and focus as much as we can on the game tomorrow. It's our starting game for the season, and it's what we do day in, day out. We try and ensure that we're ready to give everything for the games.
Bonjour Nuno, Ilias Peters,
Hi Nuno. There are 2 new players, 3 if we think about Renato as well. But what can you tell us about the first couple of days with Lucas Chevalier and Chevalier as well? We haven't had enough time with them. I don't really know what to say about them, but they've got off to a good start. I think that they're happy. They're always smiling. I think that they're in the right state of mind. And they're putting their best foot forward. I think that they're going to be of huge help this season, and that's what we need. No more questions for Nuno Mendes. Let's move on to Marquinhos, please. Away you go.
Hola Marquinhos, por acá. Buenas tardes. Juanjo Rueda para Fox México. Llevas muchos años en este equipo, pero es la primer inicio de temporada.
Hi Marquinhos.
Vienen de haber conseguido el objetivo máximo.
This is a beginning of the season for you, and we know that your objective last season was the Champions League. So how are you feeling? How are you starting the season? And as a leader, what are you going to do to ensure that this appetite is still there? Good evening, everyone.
Posso responder em francês, assim.
I'll probably speak in French if that's okay. I think that it's really a great pleasure to start a season like this. We obviously won the last Champions League, and we're coming up against the winners of the Europa. This is the first game that we're playing, and the first game that we play happens to be the Super Cup final. This is the first time as me, as a PSG player, that I'm actually experiencing this, and I hope that this will be the first of many in the future. We are competitors. And when you're a competitor, there is no end goal. It's about always pushing that bar further. It's about racking up the victories. It's about winning and then getting back to the grind and working even harder. And that's what we do as a group, as a club. So even if we've won the Champions League, that doesn't mean that that's just a box ticks. There are always other things that we want to get our hands on. Winning once is great, but winning again and again, that's exceptional. And I think there are very few teams that have been able to pull that off. That will be our objective for this year. We want to keep PSG at the level that it's at. We're going to fight for different titles and different trophies.
Good evening. I'm really surprised. I've seen on your face that you are not tired because you had a long break. So I was wondering, how are you feeling? And what are you thinking about this? Because I think it's a great opportunity to you to have a longer break. It was a big discussion. So what do you think of that? And at the end, aren't you sad? I was hoping you will be in the Ballon d'Or nominations and you are not there. So how are you feeling? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bon, ça fait vraiment, comme j'ai dit dans la question.
As I mentioned earlier in my previous answer, it's very pleasant. It's great. I've been through tough seasons, and it's hard to get your head back up after a season that didn't go the way you wanted it. However, coming back to work after the spell of great games that we had and after the Champions League, that's something that is a real source of motivation for me as a captain, for me as a player, for me as one of the veterans of the team. As I mentioned, I'm trying to motivate the others as best as I can until we win. And when we did win, it was an incredible moment for me, but it just whet my appetite because afterwards I was trying to think about what the next goal was. And I want to mark history, and I want my name to go down in the history of PSG. That's what we're going to try to do tomorrow, and we have a perfect opportunity to do so. If we look back at the last season, we had a lot of highs, but we also had lows. If we think about the last final that slipped out of our grasp, we know what it feels like to win, and we also know what it feels like to lose. I think that appetite to win, to beat other teams, and to really run on that high after games is what we're looking for. That's what we'll be looking for tomorrow. And to answer your question about the Ballon d'Or, no, for us, what's important is the team. I am now at a certain age. I'm 31 years old. I know that I hadn't won a Champions League before 30 years. And so if you were to ask me, would I prefer to be a candidate or nominated for the Ballon d'Or or win the Champions League, I would clearly say win the Champions League. Thank you for what you said about me. The individual prizes aren't what I'm looking for. It's the collective and the team that counts.
Bonsoir Marquis.
Hey Marquis, so as the captain, how do you make the arrival of a player such as Lucas Chevalier easier? What were the pieces of advice that you gave him, and how do you feel that he's settling in? The captain always has an important role when you've got a new recruit. I've had very important captains who took me under their wing when I came to a club. I think that the captain is the one that's meant to go to the new recruit, to talk about, to offer a shoulder if needs be, to say, I'm here if you have any doubts. I want to ensure that you can integrate in the best way possible. I want the new player to feel like they're at home, to feel that they're welcome with open arms. We do have that philosophy. We have our games philosophy. We have a very demanding coach. We know that it isn't always easy for the new guys coming in because they see all of this and they're having to do do things that they're not used to doing, that the coach is asking them to do, things that are done differently from where you've come to before. And that's where the colleagues, the teammates, the veterans, the captain play an important role. So we want to do everything that we can to ensure that the new recruits are comfortable, that they've got everything they need, that we understand what they want, what they don't want. Talk about PSG, the club, the group, the team. That's what's important. That's what we focus on, and that's how we're going to win. That's how we have won, and that's how we're going to continue. So the idea is to really get them to embody that philosophy so that we can all move forward together as best possible.
Salut Marquinhos, Loïc Tanzi pour
Hi
l'équipe.
Marquinhos, I am from l'équipe. Let me come back to Donnarumma. You are the captain of this team. I'm not asking you to talk about the decision that's been taken by Luis Enrique, but as a captain, you've had an incredible season with him. So how does it feel for you that he's not here? He's a friend, and he's a friend who's not playing on home turf. Yeah, it's always difficult. I said this in the interviews I gave earlier. I've been here for 12 or 13 years, and I've seen other players go through what he's gone through. So they found themselves in important players who are pillars, cornerstones, and at the end of the mercato, at the end of the transfer window, they're having to pack their bags and choose another club. But unfortunately, that's part and parcel of football. Football is exactly like that. The only thing that we can do as players, the only thing that we can give, and the only thing that we can say is to give everything we can to the players up until the last second that they're part of the club. That's what we ask our players, ask of our players. I know that one day I'll have to leave as well. I hope to be sent back in the best conditions possible. The players come and go, but the supporters, the fans, the history will always be here. And Gigio Donnarumma, he's part of PSG's history, and he always will be. We're so proud of everything he's done. We thank him from the bottom of our hearts. We don't know whether he's going to leave yet, or is he staying, is he going? And if he's staying, then we welcome him with open arms, because what he pulled off last year was incredible, and it's thanks to him that we got to the final, that we are champions of Europe. So we owe him a lot. And if he goes, then once again, huge thanks. He's a beautiful person. He's a great leader. He's a great friend. He was so important in the dressing room for all of these years that he's been with us. But that's the name of the game. It's football. I can cite a lot of players who left, and I was upset about it. And I know that if he were to leave, that would also be a blow to me. But I know that there'll be others who will go, and there'll be others who will come in, and we will continue going. We will troop on. What's important is just to give your max to the club. We've got one last question for Marquinhos, please. In Spanish, please. Good evening. I'm from Popular Sports. So, on a personal note and emotionally, how are you feeling at the moment, at this point of your career? And what is the mentality, what is the state of mind in the dressing room at the moment? I'll be answering in French if that's okay. I am very proud. I'm very proud. I'm so happy to be a part of this adventure, to have the opportunity to win another trophy, a trophy that will be very difficult, because we've got two teams that are not at the same point. Obviously, we've been working. We worked at the end of our holidays, but Tottenham, they're probably fitness-wise in a better standing than we are. But we haven't let standards slide. I saw the quality of passes, the quality of finishing, the quality of play during the training session. We're not perhaps at the top of our fitness levels or our physicality, but we know that Tottenham's going to give everything. If I can give 50 minutes, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, we'll see what happens tomorrow. But we're going to try and maintain that level and the level that we need so that we can try and get a result in the bag. This is my 13th season. We won the Champions League final. That for me was wonderful, but I'm still hungry. I still want more. I still want to help the new recruits, the new players, the younger players, even those who have won the Champions League, and they won the Champions League very young. I want to push them to go further. We also have a very demanding coach. It's not because we won once and that's done and dusted and we can wipe our hands of it. He's going to push us to also achieve more, and that's how we're going to motivate ourselves, motivate our teammates to win the game tomorrow. Thank you very much.
So we will continue with Luis Enrique.